Are we going to start with?
We are, Mike.
Hello.
Hello
Hi,
there.
everybody. Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
We are the Jedi Archives. We are reviewing what was Saber for
Saber,
Hire?
Saber for
Yep, the
hire.
Yeah,
last, the
Saber for Hire.
last of the little miniseries.
This is the last
Mhm.
one.
Yep. And
Wow.
this one,
From Adventures, we still
yep,
have Fear of the Jedi. That
Yeah.
I think that's going to be our final.
which still has another issue coming out after 5. There's number 6 coming out
It's
after
not a
5.
true number six though. Like I think it's a one shot. I don't know why Wikipedia has it listed as number six or um it's not. Like it's a 5 of 5, and then this next one that comes out is supposed to be like a stand on its own comic
Mm.
Okay.
from what I was reading.
Okay.
Because I think even on like if I was on Marvel's website, I think it lists it completely different.
Because it says to be continued at the end of number 5.
Yes,
I just picked it up today and it says to be
but I don't
continued.
think the next one's considered number six though. I think it's supposed to
Okay.
be a culmination type story.
All right. Well, let's hope so. But anyway, here we go. We've got the High Republic Adventures, the Tyoric series, and the last time we had a Tyoric series was 3 years ago. So it's been a
Mm-hmm.
while. So it's
It's a
nice to
little,
get her.
a little bitter. Is it bittersweet the way to say it? A little sad to see her leave
Yeah,
because
yeah, it
this
is.
is
It
the last
is.
time we'll probably see her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep. And she's a cool character. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Too bad we didn't get more of her. I really did like her. Although I do like that we
Well, she
tied
was
up
in
some loose
the
ends.
one book. Crash was it Race to Crash Point Tower?
Mm-hmm. But
Well,
I
she
do.
and
I really like that we close up some loose ends on this one. So I like some reveals at the end of this. So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. So let's go through the 4 covers. This is the first, and there are no variants. So here's the first cover, issue number 1.
High quality again.
Yes, nice glossy covers. Here's the first one. Good artwork. Nice. Here we are. Jedi turned monster hunter turned hero? Question mark. Dot dot dot. Tylera. Very nice. With her purple saber. Issue number 2. Got this cover. Ty York to the rescue. Here she is, looking very imposing, very powerful. Another nice cover. Okay. Third cover. In the Shadow of the Nameless. Okay. And here we see her in a less powerful position, cowering below the Nameless and a shadowy figure. And then in the final cover, of course, we have this view.
Which is
And
a fitting title for the last issue.
Tayoric at war with her past. Yes. And I think this is my favorite of the 4 covers. Do you guys have a favorite?
let me see the first
I
one again.
like yeah.
I think, I think the first one maybe.
Yours the first,
I think so.
Bryce?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was leaning towards the first cover. myself. Although if I had to rate it, would probably be this one number one for me, and then 4 would be my number 2.
Yeah.
This one looks like
Nice
a
cover,
little
but
more realistic.
my favorite's the last one. Mm-hmm. I just like that last one because we've got all of them on there. But yeah, actually, it's a cool cover because it's got the view from the inside of the monster.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool. All right. So here we go. I'll read the crawls for the 4 of them. So here's number 1. Fan favorite Saber for hire Tyoric returns in her most dangerous and personal mission yet. The former Jedi turned monster hunter is having the time of her life behind the Nile storm wall. She's never been busier, battling dangers that the Jedi would have usually handled and earning credits galore. If only she hadn't agreed to take an apprentice. A storm is brewing on the horizon that will see Ty crossing sabers with old enemies and friends. So in this first issue, it starts out interestingly enough, not with Ty, but with 2 other characters.
Yep.
So they're weird names like
Ipso?
Short and Clink or something like that.
It's Kip. Kipso and John
Kipso and
Lorin.
Yeah.
John Lorin. So Kipso, which is Lena So's son.
Mm-hmm.
And
we briefly, obviously, was on Valo
mm-hmm.
when and then briefly when we're talking about the race to Crash Point Tower.
Right. So, but they've like trying to escape, run away from mom, and run away from everything, from danger, just trying to escape. And in a nice, it is Pride Month, so in nice Pride Month fashion, we got a nice Pride kiss from Kip So and his boyfriend John. So very nice. So happy Pride, everyone.
What was his name? Joe? Jord? God,
John and Kip.
John.
There's such uncommon name. John. He's the son of Lena So, right? John.
No,
Soul?
Kip.
No, Kip is.
Kip So.
Yeah. He even met Tyoric back on Valo. So
yes. Back at the beginning.
Comes up later.
Yeah, and he remembers her. She saved him, right? She rescued him.
She saved a lot of people. She was a dragon rider.
Right, but she specifically rescued him because he remembers her. And
yeah. Well, spoiler alert. Yes, they ended up recognizing each other in issue 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
and so
obviously we have a couple of parallel stories that intertwine, as you can see from the 4th cover with everybody, the main characters that are throughout.
But in this one, it starts out with Kip and John. They've gone into this I think it's like a hibernation capsule or something for a year. That's what I gathered, right?
No, they were backpacking through Europe. Is what I got.
I thought they were hibernating because it's been a year.
No, it's literally it's a tent that goes.
No, it's a tent because remember, he hits a button and it goes right back into his backpack.
No, they're just backpacking through Europe, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought they were
they're running away from responsibilities and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just kind of living,
off the grid,
doing their thing.
I knew they were gone. I know it's been a year. Yeah. I thought they went into hibernation for
no, they just
the Nile.
They were just on vacation, essentially.
Okay, well, yeah, they're trying to escape from the Nile, get away from everything because they don't want to deal with anything.
And obviously, as the story goes, we see one of the Nile informants, and I cannot remember. Looks like a chicken.
Look like a chicken nugget, green blah.
Yeah.
But there was for spying, so we kind of knew, say the Nile now know, these 2 from Valo, especially the Chancellor's son, is on this planet. But what became really, they had no idea where they were. They just were trying to get away from the Republic as far as they could.
As far as possible, right.
Right. And so they're on this planet. They had no idea that they're on a Nile-controlled planet within the inclusion zone. They had no idea. Like
Right.
that's how
Yeah.
far disconnected they have been, which is it's kind of cool. Like when you see a story like that, like, hey man, like we don't want anything to do with the Nile. We're gonna go as far as we can from the Nile, and it's like, wait, we're in the inclusion zone.
Yeah, but they're not
Where
even in
all the Nile
contact.
are.
They're not even in contact with mom or anything. So
No,
mom has no
Well,
idea
I
where he
think they're
is.
running away more from mom than they were the Nile. I think they're just running away because if
Right.
they want to run from the Nile, they can go to Coruscant, but they're
That's
running
true.
away from life.
I don't
Like
know.
that's why I
Yeah.
The
really
Nile are the
associate
Nile
with
are
like
on
backpack
Coruscant.
into Europe. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The Nile
Mm-hmm.
are on Coruscant.
but I don't think
Yeah.
they were like a way to get away from the Nile. I think they're a way to get away from life, like
Well,
responsibilities.
it was interesting because John, you could see the expression on John's face when he found out where they were. Like
Yeah,
Right.
that to me said it was more about the Nile. My take anyway is it was
yeah,
more about they wanted to get out and be away as far away from the Nile because remember they were in that prison.
And they remember the attack.
And then the attack. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a pretty,
yeah,
for a junior novel, like there was some pretty dark moments in that
Mm-hmm.
book that they witnessed, and
Right.
they just kind of said, "We're done. We're out of here." And they
yeah.
they just took off. To me, it was, to me anyway, it was more about the Nile, and I think distancing themselves from, obviously his mom was probably, a side benefit in my mind.
Right. Right.
Like, not the primary reason, but it also was beneficial because then he didn't have to deal with
The
any
Yeah.
politics
politics or
and
anything.
right. For
Could
sure.
forget who he is, be who he
Yeah.
wants to be.
Right. And then the next part of the story is also we go to Ty and what's his name? Dewan, the rabbit looking her Padawan.
That
Or
was
he's not really
Druin,
Darwin. Is it
Druin,
Druin?
Druin.
Drewen,
Yeah,
Druin.
Druin. And he calls himself her Padawan, but she's like, you're not my Padawan.
Well, but that brought up like when I remembered like going back into that previous miniseries, she did say it, and he calls her out on it in like the second issue or whatever in this series, because she did kind of say like Padawan. Like I think that was in the fourth issue of Monster Hunter
Well,
from
it's
like
weird
3 years ago. She did say it.
I felt like their relationship digressed in the start of this one. Like they kind of back to not trusting each other, or her not trusting him, or nothing like that. It was very odd, almost like he was brand new to what they do. So I thought that was weird that she like all of a sudden like you're just a squire.
Right, because in the
Yeah,
previous series they had built up a relationship a lot stronger, I felt.
Yeah,
And 3 years ago.
I was very.
yeah.
There's still a lot of reluctancy in the first series too.
Mm-hmm.
It, but I think this was more. I agree that they regress, but I would say she's become really laser focused on staying busy,
And making
doing
Yeah.
things
money.
the Jedi wouldn't do, right? Like,
Right.
and that's why there's the bit when we get into the second issue where she shows up to a village, is like, this is Nile attacker, so like, this is not a job for me. I'm a
Right.
monster hunter. This is a
It's
job
for
for the
the Jedi.
Jedi,
Right. Let's not
because they
touch
were
this.
taking force sensitive children.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because in this one, they go to that village in Say, right? And they are stealing the children. And she's like, nope, we're not doing this. And she finds out it is the Nile, right? That's in this at the end of this issue. And she's like, and she meets the mother that pleads to her, hey, you've got to
Yep.
help save my daughter, Lene, right? And she's like, no.
Yeah, Lene,
Mm-hmm.
Elieni.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the name that tells us it's probably a hint that that's Lene Costana, right? A future Jedi Master that has ties with Sifo Dyas, if I'm correct, right? And also Dooku. So if we follow that line of lineage
I don't know.
in the Jedi Order, I think so. So because Lene
Hmm.
Costana was a master that was tied to Sifo Dyas, which was tied to Count Dooku. So that's that line of Jedi's. So if that's the same one. But then going on to the next issue.
Want to read the crawl?
In the next issue, number 2, the Nile are kidnapping children with force abilities, which we know are they're either to feed the the nameless or for Bulin's experiments, right? Because he has the children of the that he's creating. Can Ty Yorick, former Jedi turned monster hunter, find them before it's too late? And what will Ty's frustrated apprentice do when he discovers that the villainous space pirates are also targeting the son of the Republic Chancellor? Plus, Ty has an encounter that will change her life forever.
Forever.
Forever. So here she is. Because she does decide to go after the Nile. So in this issue, she changes her mind. And even though she says that she's not going to go help them because these aliens have like little gemstones on their heads, right?
Mhm.
Lene's parents. What do you remember? What aliens they are? What species are they? But they have gemstones. Lene's parents. I don't remember what
I
they.
do not know.
Yeah, but anyway, they have little jewels on their heads, and she's she's quite powerful in the Force because she goes to go rescue them, right? She goes back because I think that the Lene probes into her mind and she can see her thoughts, and we have a flashback of her with her master.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when she like um rescued the children, it was
Oh, right, right. She rescues them first.
yeah, but there was there was a moment where she was getting them out that's when Lene
Yeah, she's
had mentioned
carrying her,
her
and then
yeah,
Lene's
had
all
mentioned her
exhausted from
master's
using the
name.
force. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Siaba?
Sibaba. Her master was
Shabata.
Sibaba. Sibaba,
Yeah.
who's like the same alien that's the in the video game. He's the bartender.
That six-eyed alien.
Yeah,
Which 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 game are you referring to?
the VR game,
Oh, the VR game.
the one that you're on, Batu.
Gotcha.
I like that one because you get to go to the other bar, not Oga's Cantina, but the one above it.
The Club 33 bar.
No, not Club 33. The one
Club
above Oga's.
33.
That's where Bard is. But yeah, so yeah, she brings him back, and then she tells him, "You got to keep her safe because she's really powerful." And she decides to warn them that even though she's not a Jedi, but she says you've got to keep them safe. Make sure
Right.
that nobody knows that they have the Force.
Well, and there
Because
was a prediction that the Nile were going to come back,
right,
you
right,
know.
which
And
they
what was
do.
it? Yeah.
Which is weird 'cause she doesn't get very far. She gets like on the ship, starts
Hmm.
Well,
flying. She
remember she
goes, "Oh,
walks
something's wrong."
back. It's not so much that she walks back and sees that Druin took her ship.
Oh,
And then
right,
that's when
because
she walks back to the house, and that's when Lene knew she was back. And she goes, "Oh,
right,
I said this one was on the house, but I changed my mind. I need payment." And they're like, "Oh, you need credits?" And she goes, "No, I need that." And she points at that Nile ship.
the Nile ship.
And then
Right,
that's when she gets on that ship to go leave to find Druin
right,
that she senses Lene was in trouble.
right.
And
Because
then,
Nate
turns
has that
around and
mental ability to connect.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when two, we see this mysterious cloaked figure, and then basically force pushes Lene's parents essentially to their death. It doesn't really confirm it because they were still able to talk, but it seemed like it was eventually they were going to perish.
Yeah.
That wasn't clear to me in the book, but um, even though Lene said I felt what they did to my parents or to my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when basically at that point she takes her with her to go find Ruin, but not after she sees the cloaked and the nameless.
Right, right. So this was kind of cool because it's kind of they were doing like the Vulcan mind meld, right? That's what Lene can do. But Sibaba
Essentially,
was
yeah.
doing that too. So it was kind of like the same ability that Sibaba, her master, was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one it took to two to like kind of um to do that with, like, because they both had to concentrate on seeing each other, whereas Lene could just see Tiger. It almost reminded me a little bit, and just to use a different fandom, it almost reminded me of like when Voldemort would once in a while get into Harry's head, and like Hermione would
Hmm.
say, "Hey, you can't let him in," and he sits there and goes, Hermione, sometimes I can't help it. It just
Right.
happens. And that's kind of almost like I feel like Lene's just able to do it, even though Ty's probably very strong with not letting people in. But Lene's just
She's that
she has
powerful.
she has
Yeah.
she's that powerful that she's just able to overcome any kind of like defense wall or anything that Ty has. So it
In
just kind of
that
reminded me
in
a
that
little bit more of
aspect,
Harry
yeah.
Potter. Yeah.
Yeah, in that aspect, yeah. I think that's one thing that the High Republic's been really successful at is showing us that different Jedi have different like force abilities. They have like
I
different
also
strengths.
Yeah, and I feel like they take some of these abilities from other fandoms too to kind of incorporate,
Hmm.
like
Yeah. So that was really cool, really cool. And so, and I think that's pretty much it for this issue, right? Did we cover?
Pretty much.
Then it goes on to the third, and the third
I'm
one
trying to
it says
remember what
Ty
happened in
Yorick
the
versus the
third and
ninth.
what. I remember what happened to the last
Let's
one.
see.
I'm trying to remember the third one.
I know what happens in the last one, but let's see. In the third one, Ty Yorick versus the Nile, the former Jedi turned monster hunter comes face to face with the child of the storm. But who or
Mhm.
what is behind the villainous Niall's cowl? Meanwhile, Ty's a grieved apprentice initiates a mission of his own to rescue the Republic Chancellor's son. So that's when we have uh, Dewan, who has taken off and taken it upon himself to prove himself that he's going to rescue uh, Lena So's son and prove to Ty Yorick that he is worthy of being her Padawan. And so he's going to do it by rescuing the Chancellor's son. And so he goes off to the planet where they have gone, right? Because they've gone into hiding and he's chasing at, oh no, he's on that planet. He's going to go find them on that same planet where they are. But the Nile also know that they are there because that, what is it? That blob Nile has seen them and they're after them too. So meanwhile, uh, they're on like a beach, right? And they
That's
think
at
they're
the end of the episode, right? Or is that the beginning?
Because I
Well, they
remember
could.
the Nile find Kip and John, and then that's when was that in the fourth issue?
I thought it was in this one, the third
I
one.
thought this one ended with they they just found them, but after the rabbit found them,
Druin?
he finds them, but then they like walk into the Nile. I thought that was like the last scene, and she's
Oh yeah,
already
I
yeah.
think you're right. That's how it ends. Is he does initially save them because they're walking.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, they're
They're
walking in
walking
like a cave or something,
and they get the
and
little
then
leeches on them. They
Kip,
have the little
Kip
leeches.
gets like tangled, and
Not the
that's
leeches,
when
but the big octopus.
Druin,
Leeches are later.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, and
The
then
big
Druin
octopus.
Druin comes in to save them, and then he's like, hey, I got to get you out of here, and I got to get you back to Coruscant.
He's like, I'm here
And
to
then yeah,
save you.
you're right,
Yeah.
Jonathan. Then that's when they walk out and
But Ty is back on whatever planet she is, dealing with what this mysterious force user who has a nameless and somehow can control him. and
Right,
says her name, which is a
right,
big clue. Yeah.
right. Because he knows who. And at first, I thought it was a child of the storm, and I thought, wait, where? And I was trying to figure out if it was the timeline of this with because I thought it was the child of the storm that we had seen from the
So there were
previous.
many.
Isn't he
Yes,
essentially still a child of the storm though? He's just who he once was.
that's
He gets
true.
pretty much modified.
Right, they're all children of the storm.
Yeah,
Right,
he went to Tatooine and got some from the Mod Squad.
because they're all get by Baron Boolin. Right, they all get modified
Yeah.
by Baron Boolin. That's true.
Yeah, and I think, and he only does these with like force sensitive people.
Right, that he's
Um,
adapted, modified. You're right.
and
Um,
doesn't Lene get in his head to see, or was it no, or was
That's
it Ty that got into his head to see what had been done to him?
that's the last episode. Last book.
Yeah, it's all managed together.
but
It's
you
all
know what?
managed
That's
In
how
together.
this,
that
you know what's interesting? Ty must be really strong because she's able to fight off the effects of the nameless. Did you notice that?
She's not
well, I
though, because
think
remember, Sababa said the only reason you're alive is because I haven't told him to go.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that's why you see the nameless actually go past her into the caves.
After the two kids, right? That's
Well,
right.
yeah, and Druin. And I guess the one thing that I guess with Druin, like I didn't know that he was force sensitive because it seemed like the nameless had an effect on him.
Yeah, they
And he
did.
yeah.
even said something about it. And I guess I didn't know that he was force sensitive. Was
Yeah,
that
he
ever
is.
mentioned in the first four books?
Yeah, he is. He is because that's why he wants to be her Padawan. He wants to be trained, and
I
because
guess I didn't remember that. So,
it was the two boys that have to rescue him because the whole
yep.
point of this one, it says in the
Because
crawl,
Kip
is
tackles the thing.
right because they have
Like
to save each
that's just
other because
that's
that's the line, right?
brave and stupid at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. But that's more of the fourth book too. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, it's all kind of the same story. It's hard to separate them.
well,
Uh,
I forgot how did she get away from him the first time in this book? How did she get away from the guy? These
she reads into his mind, remember? And
no,
she
that's
sees
the
who he
last
is.
one. That's the last one. That's the little girl reads
Oh,
into
the
his
little girl
mind.
comes.
But
She
that's the
comes and reads.
last book. This third book. How does Ty get off this planet?
No, in this third
No,
one, the little girl comes and finds
Um,
them, and she tells
no.
Lene to go away. She does. She tells little Lene to go away,
And
and Lene says, "He's here for me."
yeah,
yeah,
and then he has her against
I
the
can't
rocks,
remember
tearing out
exactly
her
what
heart.
happened. I can't remember exactly
Yeah.
what happens, but she's able to get on her ship because then that's when he says, "Get me my ship." Like he's
Yeah,
going
I can't
after her.
remember how that got away that first time, but that's how they eventually stop him the second time. Is the little girl intervenes, but yeah,
Yeah, there was something. Yeah, I can't exactly remember what, but she was able to get on the ship. And
But
did
in
you
this
just take a
issue,
selfie of yourself?
no, I turned it so I could look up the book.
in this issue, he calls her by her full name, and that's how she
Yeah, this,
knows who he is.
yeah, but it's not
Yep.
revealed who he is till the last one. 'Cause she says,
Right.
No, but he calls her by her full name,
yeah. She,
Hi, Leroy. Yep.
and then she's like, "Wait a minute! Only one person knew who my full name was."
Right.
stupid.
But yeah, then we get into the fourth issue where basically everything
Right,
ties together.
right, right,
Because then it's where we see the Nile pretty much kind of taking out Druin, and there's that droid that picks him up, and then that droid's about to like end him, and that's when you see like Ty's sword or saber cut right through him. But Druin had sent the boys into the cave.
right, and that's
But,
right,
but then that's when Ty had showed up, and then that's where Sababa and the Nameless thing, because that's when he sends the Nameless into the cave, is
right.
in this last issue. And then that's when Kit.
And here's the last little crawl. So
Oh,
the
I
epic
remember they got
miniseries
away in the
features
third book. The third book, her droid's flying the ship, remember? And he comes
Yeah.
by and shoots at them. and then that creates a diversion for her to get away in the third book.
Oh, that's right. The droid.
Then she gets on the ship and they fly away, and then they have the encounter in the fourth one. Drive me
The epic
nuts.
miniseries comes to a shocking conclusion. The identity of the sinister child of the storm is revealed. A past confronted and a sacrifice made as Ty Yorick and her apprentice face their biggest challenge yet. Ty's life will never be the same. This is the final issue. And so in this one, yes, it was the droid who saved them.
Yeah. So yeah, this one that we pick up right where it left off, where they find him on the beach, is almost instantaneously. Ty gets there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And she dispatches those Nihil kind of a little too easily. Like
She
they
kills
were
them all.
nothing.
She kills
They
them,
were
yeah.
nothing for her. Yeah.
Right.
I think we've established that she's pretty powerful, whether she
Oh, yeah, she's
identifies
really
as a
powerful.
Jedi or not. I mean,
Right.
the purple lightsaber kind of gives it away, right? Because we kind of learn, like, you know, why
Mace
Mace had it, because
Windu.
Mace was an extremely powerful Jedi, but also could kind of tap into the dark side in a way too, like that purple. You know, like it's that purple's that perfect blend of blue and red.
Yeah.
So, like that's so you can kind of understand. That's with her having a purple saber, she's definitely on the power spectrum up there.
Mm-hmm. And then she does tell Drew, and you know what? I think she apologizes to him in her way, and she tells him, "You need to protect the two boys, and I'm gonna go take care of this." And that's when Druin says, "Wait a minute, a Jedi only speaks that way when I'm never gonna."
She says, "May the Force be with you always."
Right.
That was a line.
And that's when he says that's what somebody says, kind of like when they're never going to see each other again,
right.
kind of thing.
And so he's like, I've got to go help her. And he chases after her. But when she goes outside, that's when the stranger comes back and he's like, "Did you dispatch of all my Nile? Because they're all dead." She's like, "Yeah, I sure did." And that's when she realized the revelation that the child of the storm that's been chasing her, because that's when Lene comes back, and she tells them. That's when she tells him, he's after me. She's like, "No, you need to go away high." She's like, "No, he's after me. Let him take me." And she probes into his mind. Ty does, right? And that's when she sees that he is her old master, Sababa, because she's been suspecting it after he said her full name.
Yeah, I don't think Ty's probing into his mind. I think that little girl has some special ability.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's the little girl connecting everyone.
But when she does it is when Ty's able to see it, though.
Yeah. So I think she's like connecting everyone. I think that little girl wasn't there. Ty wouldn't have been able to probe in his mind. That little girl has some kind of special Elper level, Professor X level type mind reading ability.
And you thought that this was the Jedi Master, like, for Sifo-Dyas?
Lene is the one that brought it. Yes, it's the direct. So Lene, if it's Lene, if it's the one who I think it is, then it's gonna be if it's the same Lene, if it's Lene, let me see, I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Lene Castana?
Yes, Castana.
Costanza.
Not Costanza.
Oh, so that is her.
It is, right? Then she's the one that was the master to Sifo-Dyas, who was also the one for Count Dooku.
Lene Castana was a force-sensitive El-Tiri female Jedi Master who served Jedi Order prior to the invasion of Naboo. Her mission for the Order involved finding and studying ancient Sith relics in preparation for their eventual return. As she was rising through the ranks of the Jedi Order, the young Dooku found himself drawn to strange fascination with Castana and her mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, her apprentice was Sifo-Dyas.
What book is this from?
So this is cool. Like, that's a great tie-in. Good catch, Mike.
Cool, right? Yeah. So it is her.
What's
That
the
is a
source on
very
this?
cool tie-in.
What's the
Wikipedia.
source? Oh, I mean,
Wikipedia.
is it a book? You don't they cite their sources?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look. It's on
It'd
Wikipedia.
be cool to know if there's a comic, a book. Yeah, but no, that's still cool.
So then at the end of this,
Pretty much when she taps into his mind, he pretty much just like surrender, like gives up, right? He just like
well, because
because
she
he's tapped in her mind at the
right,
same time
they're all connected, so they can see
because and
everybody.
he sees that she left because,
Well, she says that she broke his heart when she left.
but
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the
she
reason she left is because she caused the death of, I think it was one of the other Padawans, right? Or one of the other.
that's what it looked like. I don't remember if that was actually they showed us before, but that's what it looked like. Maybe someone she had feelings for or something. But she was afraid how he would respond, and so that's why she left.
Right. I
And
think
so
it was
then
an accident.
it
Hmm.
like it kind of like melted his heart, I guess in a way you can say. And so then he kind of like gave up after that. He goes, "I'm so sorry."
And he became a seeker.
Yeah. Came
Hmm.
came away seeker.
Well, when she
Right.
left, he became a seeker. Yeah,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Jonathan, to go back to your thing here, what they have, like her appearances are obviously the books that we're talking about. She's also mentioned in Dooku Jedi Lost, and then she's also in Yoda issue number 4 as well, mentioned in a flashback. But the sources are a seat on the council, Star Wars Insider 199, and then
Hmm.
also in Star Wars Insider 201, and then Star Wars Insider 226.
So that's kind of cool. We draw a line from Ty York to essentially normal Star Wars, like what we
Yeah,
know of
and
Star
then
Wars.
apparently in the Star Wars Encyclopedia, the comprehensive guide to the Star Wars galaxy.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's the one I just got. Maybe that's the one I just got that I made you
That's
guys buy.
cool. I have all those. I have all
Yeah, it's
those.
in the new one, the new encyclopedia.
And I have all those
So she's
back
also in
issues.
there.
All those old issues. I have them from when I was hyperspace member.
For what? The Star Wars Insider?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have all those too.
So pretty cool.
I still collect them. I get the previews ones from my comic book shop.
Me too. Still now.
I
Nice.
don't.
All right. Uh so yeah. Oh, and it ends with of course she's able to let him know that she can still bring him back, right? And he it doesn't end badly for her old master. She's able to bring him with them, and they all end up going back to Coruscant, and they take him to the Jedi Temple, and
I
I
can't
think
tell if you look like they're arresting him or if they're just helping him walk, but it was kind of weird how they were like flanking
Well,
him
I'd
the way.
imagine he's probably
Yeah,
under arrest. I mean, still
yeah,
force sensitive.
yeah.
They have to be careful.
yeah, but they do take him back, and then Linnea also goes back with them,
Yep.
and they go to the temple, and Druin too, and they take Kip So back to his
Yep. And
mom,
so we see the Chancellor.
Chancellor Lena So, and so it's nice, a nice reunion.
The
Well,
artwork in this book was probably my favorite.
The what?
I said the artwork I think in this book was
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite.
yeah.
you did have a
Uh,
funny joke at the end where Derwin says, "Do I get to be a Padawan?" She said, "No." Do I get the lightsaber? No.
No, for Light and
yeah.
Life, she's like, don't push it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost feel like you could do another miniseries like down the road with them if you wanted to. Doesn't
We still
necessarily
have,
have to be
you
a
know what?
High
There's a lot of,
Republic area kind of thing. So
we still could get a lot of stories, a lot of
yeah,
like acolytes type stories with them. Doesn't have to be her. You're
yeah,
right.
it'd be kind of cool if we got one more. It wouldn't have to. be branded under the the High Republic or
Right.
High Republic Adventures. Like somebody could just write the adventures of Ty York and Druin. Like that could be another little like 4-book
Yeah.
thing that kind of
Just like we got
yeah
the Wayseeker. So,
yeah
because the Wayseeker's after the High Republic,
oh
technically.
yeah
And
it's
so,
because that's the book that leads into just the Acolyte itself, and then there's another one, another
right,
book
we're
that
getting
comes
another
out.
one. Right, right.
It's a junior no young adult novel.
The other one coming out
Yeah, and I
is
remember very soon.
the Crystal Crown.
Yeah, Crystal Crown. Yep.
Hmm.
Uh, was it June? Is it June 17th?
July.
Is
Oh yeah, June 17th is Trials of the Jedi.
yeah, the final book.
Yep.
I think it's
I
still
just
so fitting that it's Sewell that wrote the first one and he got to write the last one. I do think that's
yeah.
fitting.
I just finished Valiant Vow today, you guys.
Yeah.
So yes. So now I'm only waiting for uh Trials of the Jedi,
You don't have to
and
wait
then
long. 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks.
the last of it. I'm sad, but yeah.
Oh, we gotta kick Mike out. He's got dinner plans.
Yes. But
You wanna?
so Holocron ratings, guys.
It was fun. I would say it's 4 out of 5 for me. Like, it was just really a centered Ty York. It was really centered around her, which is good. Did bring in a lot of the other stuff. Got to see some flashbacks and stuff like that. It was solid. It was solid for me. Quick read for all 4 books.
I agree too. Four to five holocrons for me too. Good characters, good stories, good connections with lots of good Star Wars stuff. So 4 to 5 holocrons for me.
I'm gonna give it 3. It was way too. It was way too rushed for her
That's
last.
fun.
Her last sunset into the sun. A big. It's weird. It felt bad execution. It felt great idea. We get to meet her up with her old master. Get to try and not have to actually kill him. Chance to save him. Way too rushed, and even the action scenes were like almost like off page. Like when she defeated all the Nihil, you just see like a lightsaber slash, and then that's it. It was way too rushed and way. I felt like someone had a great idea, maybe on the whiteboard, and then when it got time to do it, they said, "Let's just punch this out." So it felt. I didn't feel like it did her justice. I felt like she needed maybe a little bit more time spent on it. That's me. So 3
Yeah.
for me.
You know what? I wish we could have got more as well. I agree, but I still liked it.
Yeah, I still did too. I that's why I said like I feel like you could still do more with the character and
Mhm.
just not have it be High Republic.
I
It
hope we
could
get
be
more. I
heck, it could be 20 years down the road or something, where that's just
yeah,
she's a vigilante, like basically the Star Wars equivalent of the Punisher.
yeah. The Lothians do live longer than humans, so I do hope we get
Yeah,
more.
Mhm.
yeah, it would be cool.
And I would like
Well,
to hear. I'd like to hear more stories about Lene. When she's training.
Yeah, that
Right.
seems to be something that they really could lean in on too. Is now we have this character that was mentioned here. We
Hmm.
understand at some point she becomes a Jedi Master, so she sits on the
Right.
council. She
She
is
collects Sith
the master
artifacts.
for Sifo Dyas. Yep, she studies Sith
Hmm.
artifacts. And then, a young Dooku.
Right. That's
My
cool.
guess would be, and I guess I don't remember the. It's been so long since I've listened to Dooku Jedi Lost, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember at what point where he would have become fascinated with her. He must have been under Yoda's tutelage and within the Jedi Temple if she's doing these studies with the artifacts and stuff.
Hmm.
Because doesn't he also have some sort of like a relationship, like friendship with Sifo Dyas? Isn't Sifo Dyas around Dooku's age? Or no?
No,
Or is he
he's
a lot
younger.
older?
He's Sifo Dyas is younger.
Than Dooku?
I think so.
hmm.
I think so.
Well, let's pay those bills, guys.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we got yeah.
We got like 75 things to run.
Oh yeah, the Rebel ScumCom, August 8th through the 10th, 2025, is hosting Booty Special Edition in Frisco, Texas. Please visit them at www.rebelscumconventions.com. Oh, see, I thought you were setting me up for that one, Jonathan.
I was waiting for you to go to the next banner.
I
Is this
did.
the next one? Oh, this is the next
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Tickets for Book
So,
E Special Edition. Tickets are now on sale at virtualcantinanetwork.com.
and Mike,
Visit our website, www.virtualcantinanetwork.com, as well as YouTube at Virtual Cantina Network, on Instagram at Virtual Cantina Network, on X, formerly Twitter, at Virtual Cantina Virtual, and on TikTok at Virtual Cantina. And like the VCN Star Wars Celebration Los Angeles 2027 Facebook page. And you're right, Bryce. Sifo Dyas and Count Dooku are exactly the same age, born on the
that's what I
same
thought. I
year.
think it's Sifo Dyas and him. At one point, they talk, and I think that's where the
Yep.
actuation thing comes from. Is on that. So, and
Yep.
then
They're
obviously,
the same age.
yeah. So,
Cool.
and then also a big thank you to our partner pages, Star Wars Book Nerds and Star Wars Comic Book Club.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for watching. May the Force be with you always.
May the Force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
It sounds like something you say when you're not coming back.
Hi, this is author Timothy Zahn. You're listening to Virtual Cantina Network.